they'll inevitably, if we get to October and we don't have a deal, and it's clear that there will be no deal, inevitably there will be further planning and preparation that will take place at that point. So that's inevitable. But what you'll see is from now on, and including over during the remaining summer months, is a series of those technical notices starting to be published.
So that would suggest that you would think companies, businesses, individuals might need to start planning from when, December?
Well, it will depend on the sector and the nature. I mean, we're already having conversations with businesses about both the negotiations, but also about some of those risks. But in terms of, it'll depend on which sector they're in and what the specific nature of their business is, I think, in fairness. Because the agriculture will be different from, say, car manufacturers to services.
So forgive me, Secretary of State, but it almost sounds like you could potentially be publishing these technical notices too late for individuals and businesses to actually start preparing for no deal, if no deal is around the corner.
No, we'll be very mindful of the lead time in relation to the technical notices. We're starting to do it relatively soon. They'll be done in a series. Some are more further advanced than others. But what we've made clear is that these technical notices will start coming. They're not the point of departure. A lot of work has already been done on the no-deal planning and preparation. But I think we are entering a different phase of both the negotiations and the planning, where more of it will need to be public-facing. That's partly because of the nature of the operational and logistical changes that we made, partly because, for example, in continuity of our treaty relations, we'll be talking to other governments so people become aware of it. We want to do it in a responsible, coherent way. But we'll be very mindful of the lead time that businesses and individuals will need in relation to the preparations. And, of course, we won't leave the EU until the end of March.
Would that suggest that you would be publishing papers in order of how much longer it might take and how much more risk there might be in preparation for no deal?
Well, that would be part of the consideration, but not the sole one.
Could I ask you just final question, Chair? You previously said that the UK would thrive, in your view, if we leave the EU without a deal. Is that still your view?
Yes. I've always made clear that I think this country has got a huge amount going for it in terms of its economic potential, its cultural soft power, the democratic institutions which we prize, one of the big reasons people voted to leave the EU. I'm absolutely focused, and it goes back to the question I think I was originally asked by Mr. Raab, on getting a deal. That's my overriding prerogative. And I accept that there are risks that need to be mitigated in relation to no deal. But I think this country's best days lie ahead, and I think Brexit, over the long term, will ensure that's the case. And what I want to make sure is that we continue to pursue this dual strategy of doing everything we can to get the best deal, but being confident enough in ourselves as a country to make sure that we can weather any squall or any of the uncertainty that would accompany no deal.
Do you think we'll be thriving in April next year?
I think, as we've learnt with the forecasts that were made about the state of the UK economy before the referendum, they're either rather difficult and too often proved wrong. But there's no doubt that there will be some risks of leaving the EU that we will need to mitigate. What I'm saying is, to the medium to long term, I'm confident in this country.